On the 23rd of August 2023,
a business jet crashed over Russia's Tver Oblast. There were 7 passengers on board and 3 crew members. All of them died. One name on the passengers list shook the world. Yevgeny Prigozhin, the Wagner chief. He was on the flight. And the news spread like wildfire. The Wagner chief is dead. Is the Russian president and once close friend Vladimir Putin sorry? Hello and welcome. This is Gravitas Plus. I am Molly Gambhir. Ever since the failed mutinous march on Rostov-on-Don, Yevgeny Prigozhin was a dead man walking. The Wagner chief lived as he died, violently, flamboyantly, and at the center of intrigue. Putin says Prigozhin was a man of complicated fate. But was it his fate that caught up with Prigozhin during that plane ride, or was it someone he crossed? You see, for years, Prigozhin was a loyal confidant of the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Putin pulled the strings, Prigozhin did the deed, be it in West Asia or Africa. It was all well and good until Prigozhin got ahead of himself. In February 2023, Putin's former chef released a series of hostile audio messages. He accused 2 Russian military leaders of treason. His targets, the defense minister Sergei Shoigu and Russia's senior-most general Valery Gerasimov. Prigozhin accused these men of withholding ammunition and supplies from his fighters. And this did not go too well with Vladimir Putin. Shoigu is not only Putin's political ally, but also a close friend. Both have sunbathed together in remote Siberia, shared fishing holidays, played on the same ice hockey team. By pointing the finger at Shoigu, the Wagner chief was essentially raising a finger against Putin's leadership. And this, by the way, was just the beginning. 2 months later, Prigozhin again accused the Russian military of starving the Wagner forces of necessary ammunition. In June came another video. Prigozhin was describing the Russian invasion of Ukraine as a racket perpetrated by a corrupt elite. And Shoigu was once again the target. He was accused of targeting the Wagner troops, and things escalated quickly here on. And before you know it, they had taken control of an army command in the southwestern city of Rostov-on-Don, shot down Russian military jets, and they were marching to Moscow to dethrone Shoigu. The mutiny failed, and Prigozhin's end was written. You see, Putin was not going to spare a man who dared to cross him. And he never has. Anyone who has crossed Putin has died, disappeared, or landed in jail. This is Pavel Antov. He was a Russian sausage tycoon. Antov had founded the Vladimir Standard meat processing plant. This man was worth some $140 million, and he was all of 65. Last year, Antov made the mistake of criticizing Putin's invasion of Ukraine. This was over a WhatsApp message. Antov quickly deleted that message, but he was not quicker than Putin's agents. The next thing you know, the Russian tycoon falls to his death from a hotel window. This is Ravil Maganov. He was the chairman of the Russian energy company Lukoil. Maganov was openly critical of the war in Ukraine, and shortly after Russia invaded Ukraine, Lukoil called for the soonest termination of the armed conflict. In September, Maganov fell out of a hospital window in Moscow. And interestingly, a statement from Lukoil said, Maganov's death came after a serious illness. And next, we have Boris Nemtsov. He was a former deputy prime minister of Russia, and he went on to become a big critic of Putin. He was shot 4 times in the back, just yards from the Kremlin, as he was walking home from a restaurant in the year 2015. This is Alexander Perepelichny, a Russian businessman and a father of 2. He helped a Swiss investigation into a Russian money laundering scheme, and soon after that, he sought refuge in the UK. One fine morning in November 2012, he had gone out for jogging, and soon he was found dead near his luxury home outside London. He was just 44 years old. The speculation is that he was given a rare poison. Prigozhin had enjoyed a large bowl of soup before his jog, and the soup contained sorrel, a popular Russian dish. Traces of a rare and deadly poison from the jessamine plant were found in Prigozhin's stomach. Russia again denied involvement. Journalist Natalia Estemirova was abducted in the year 2009 from outside her home. She was later found in the nearby woodland with gunshot wounds to her head. Journalist Anna Politkovskaya was shot by contract killers at point-blank range in the lift outside her flat. Her human rights lawyer, Stanislav Markelov, also met the same fate. Journalist Paul Klebnikov was killed in a drive-by shooting. Alexander Litvinenko, an ex-KGB agent and outspoken critic of Vladimir Putin, was also killed. It was 2006. Litvinenko was at London's Millennium Hotel enjoying his green tea, just as the tea was laced with polonium-210, a rare and potent radioactive isotope. Litvinenko died weeks after the poisoning. And those who survived poisoning were put in jail. Take the case of Alexei Navalny. He was Russia's most prominent opposition leader. In the year 2020, he was poisoned in Siberia by a military nerve agent, Novichok. And this was the same agent, by the way, that was used in the 2018 Salisbury poisoning. Navalny was flown to Germany for medical treatment, and Russia denied any involvement. A year later, Navalny decided to return to Russia. He was arrested as soon as he arrived, and he is now serving an 11-year sentence for fraud and other charges. His political movement has been outlawed and declared extremist. Recently, in fact, extra 19 years in a maximum security prison were added to Navalny's term. You see, Putin, a former KGB agent, has an appetite for risk. There is hardly a practice of the Soviet repression that hasn't been revived by Putin in Russia. New laws have criminalized public criticism of the government and of its actions, especially the war. Political opposition has become synonymous with treason. Today's Russia counts more known political prisoners than the Soviet Union did in its later years. Even the forced psychiatric treatment of critics has made a comeback, just like the Soviet Union days. Senior Russian lawmakers have also repeatedly called for stripping quote-unquote traitors of their citizenship. But is this even surprising? After all, Putin not only served in the Soviet KGB, new archival research shows he also personally participated in searches and interrogations of dissidents in 1970s Leningrad. Simply put, you would not want to have bad blood with Putin. There is a pattern here. Whoever ends up on his bad side is murdered, poisoned, or imprisoned. Yevgeny Prigozhin seems to be the latest example. While the plane crash is a first, Putin's tendency to end his enemies is not. Prigozhin's death is mysterious, but not surprising. He was on borrowed time, and that time has run out.